Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Eleshia Show. I am super excited to have Dara here with me. Remember last week when I talked about going on a silent retreat and how transformative it was for me and for the other ladies who participated? Well, it was Dara's retreat. And so this week, I wanted to bring Dara on so that we could have a conversation and she could share her insights about the silent retreat and how she came to do these amazing retreats. And so before I go into wanting to know everything about you, Dara, please, please, can you introduce yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about you?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the invitation on your podcast. I'm Dara. I live in France. I live on the West Coast next to Biarritz, and I'm a dance intuitive teacher. Yeah, I'm 29 years old now, and I love to guide people to dance freely on the beach, outside, and also to feel comfortable with themselves, to feel at ease with their body, and to be connected to their true nature.
And that's one of the things that I really got from this time with you was I'm so used to being in a noisy world, right? So when our mutual friend Gars told me all about your retreat, I was very intrigued as to what to expect and very pleasantly surprised of what I got out of it because I went into the time that I spent with you with no expectations at all. And so it just felt really wonderful to be held and to be able to take up so much space because you gave me that permission. And so I want to thank you for that because in a world that I don't take up space, it was wonderful to have one, no expectations, but nobody telling me what I could and couldn't do. It was like you gave me that permission just to do me. And I loved it. I really loved it.
Oh yeah, thank you for your feedback. Yeah, this is the beauty in dance is that you can take up space with your body. And because dance is the way you move with your body through space, it's a beautiful metaphor for that, to allow your body to take up space, to extend your move, to extend your dancing spot also. So it's a good resonance. It's a good connection between what you said. In the world, we have so much noise and it's difficult to show up, to take a space. And here with the dance, you can do it in the safe space of the retreat. So I completely understand what you had experienced during the retreat.
Yes, thank you. So, how did you get into dance and how did you come up with this concept? So, that was two questions in one.
Yeah, I start with the first one. When I was young, I started dancing when I in dance schools until my 16. And at that age, I had an accident at the high school and it broke my back. I had to go to hospital for 1 month and it completely changed my life. From that moment, I couldn't dance anymore. It was not possible anymore. So my doctor said to me, I have to change also the way I see my future. Even if at that time I didn't know that I wanted to do dance as part of my professional life. But I was sad, but I was not depressed. This event in my life took part of my daily life. And I started to be very optimistic and I wanted to reconnect with my body because it was a call from my body that even if the people said that it was not possible anymore, I really wanted to prove myself and to listen to my body that it can take times. So I was very patient because it took times. I had to study something else. I studied history of art and history of dance and ethnology of dance. So everything around dance actually, but
Yes.
more here in the mind with the books at the library, writing some essays. At some point, I couldn't do it anymore. I had to come back to my body
Mm.
because I was thinking about dance every day, but through my mind, but not through my body. So I had to do to put everything from my mind into the body to experience it also. And I started to meditate, to do yoga, Pilates, and other movements practices. And I discovered intuitive dance, free dance. I discovered ecstatic dance, medicine dance, a lot of ways to move in another way. And it helped me a lot. And it changed completely my relationship with my body and the relationship with the way I see myself in the space, the way I also think, because I was not thinking only with my mind, but also with my body, to
Yeah.
let my body speak, because the body can speak also before the mind, as for me. And it took me from my 18 to my 26, I think. I just explored a lot. I explored a lot of ways to move. And I used to live in South Africa, and there I studied conscious dance. I also did a training there, and I wanted to share this precious knowledge I had in France when I went back in France 2 years ago. So that's why I created a new business called Explore Your Dance. And yeah, I'm happy to guide people in the retreat, also in workshop, in the studio, or on the beach, or in the forest, or so soon online. It's now how I see my life, like always with people around dance.
I love everything that you just said, Dara, because you was not taking no for an answer. You did not just sit down and take what the doctors told you. You really took to heart that you would dance again. And when you do dance, it's mesmerizing. Like I found myself so many times just watching you move. And had I not known your backstory, I would never have known that you had your back complications, because the way you've taught your body to move again is so beautiful and so fluid.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm really in awe of you for taking that time, because at such a young age, you could have just decided, okay, I'm just going to do something else. But you had the passion in your heart to say, no, dance is what I want to do. And now you're using that passion to really give back to everybody else that is in your space. And so I will forever be transformed from the time that we spent together, because I didn't realize how much I needed it until I got home. So when you decided that dance was going to be your everything, how did you come up with the concept of putting silence and dance together? Was that
Mm-hmm.
something that just felt intuitively really worked?
It's because I experienced it. I had the chance to experience it through my training in South Africa. It was, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. I did a 10 days meditation retreat in complete silence. It's
Ooh.
called Vipassana. It's just about stay in your posture, meditating, seated position, or being on the floor. It's very hard, but I did it and it was good. But I also wanted to experience another way to meditate. And is it possible to meditate through movement and not through immobility? And 1 month after that, I did through my training a 5 days silent retreat and dance. And it was transformative. It was, I think, the best experience in my life, because being in silence with myself, but also moving, it
Mhm.
was the opportunity to let my body speak, to let myself speak in a artistic way, in an expressive way, because it's what I wanted to do in the retreat, that I allow you to write, to draw, to walk in nature, to dance in nature or in the studio, and being in silence bring you to your inner world.
100%.
Yeah, because you said we live in a noisy world, but not only outside, but also inside. And when we are in silence, I can observe that I'm here with myself and I have the space and the time to observe how much is noisy inside of
Yeah.
myself. But through the retreat, I just experienced that all the feelings and emotions and thoughts I had disappeared, maybe appeared again, but then disappeared and let go. And at some point, it was less noisy inside of me. Yeah? And that's why I wanted to share this in France. And even it's difficult to put words on that because it's only about movement, body, silence, we don't speak. So how can we speak about that after? Sometimes it's hard. So I thought, okay, I had the chance to experience something super beautiful. I want to give that to people and see if there is a call also in France, if your body is calling for that too. And I was happy because you came to the second edition of the retreat, and I hope there will be more and more.
Yes, oh, 100%. I think if there isn't more, that would be a real shame because when I was told about it, the first thing I thought about was being in silence, meditation, stillness. And then when I looked on your website and I was like, wow, dance and silence, how is this going to work? And so that's when I was really intrigued and it opened up my imagination as I know for a fact, like I love to talk. Don't you remember the first day when you said we were going to be in silence until Monday? And I shrieked and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, Dara. I was a little bit feeling like, how am I going to do 3 days of silence? So when you said 10 days, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have done that. But 2.5 days, which is what I thought, or 3 days, I knew I could handle. And now that I've been through that journey, I could have done more days. I know that for a fact now. In your presence, in the way you held us, in the way you put together the retreat, the activities, I like control. I like to know what I'm doing. The evening when we had our opening ceremony and you and Dorian made us all feel at ease, and I'd met the group and I'd had a chance to connect with the group, I let go. I physically let go and I was like, I trust. I completely trust in this process. And so for me, that was huge because that takes a lot for somebody like me who's always having to control certain situations. I work in project management, so I'm always looking at controlling the projects and so forth. But you made it so easy just to let go.
Thank you. I understand what you feel because also me, I love to control. I mean, I think it's the mind who wants to control. And inside of us, there's something also who wants more spontaneous life. I mean, something improvised. And in dance, we can improvise. We can just dance with what we have here in the present. And it's what I like with dance is that I share with you some movements, but I love when you can dance by yourself, like a solo improvisation being expressed through your body, show up for yourself. I think we did together through the conscious dance is that it's so helpful for the mind to not control. Just move here with what we have and not control. And the movement also, I think, can help the process of non-controlling. The wave is like going in one direction and go back and go forward. It's like not fixed. So I like that in movement. I like that in dance.
I think for me, I did things that I hadn't done in a long time. Dancing on the beach, wow. I don't think I've ever done that. And that was a new experience for me. But to 100% let go and dance like nobody was watching, that was absolutely amazing. Bike riding, I hadn't ridden a bike in over 10 years. And the fact that you had thought about all of these things, the food, I'm a big foodie. So for me, just being taken care of, where I didn't have to think about my meals or anything like that. I was just solely there to look after myself and not have to do the mummy things that I constantly have to do, making sure that everybody's taken care of, especially myself, because I need to be there for everybody else. So it was nice just to pour into me and know that everything was taken care of to every last moment. You thought about everything, Dara. You thought about absolutely everything. There was nothing from that experience that you hadn't thought about. And so when I came back from this experience and people are asking me about it, how to explain what I went through, I was like, it was just really transformative. I don't know how to explain what I've literally just been through because I am still integrating everything. And it was just wonderful to be in a space where I was allowed to be wholly Eleshia.
Yeah, wow. The opportunity to discover yourself and rediscover yourself. Yeah, I completely understand you because also me now, I'm back in my daily life and I can see
Yes.
that I have so much things to think, to plan, to do, just the meals. I mean, everything like we eat every day.
Yeah.
So thinking about what you are going to eat takes so
Mhm.
much charge here,
Yes.
much space. And what we do in the retreat is that we allow yourself to not think completely. I mean, just about the daily task, but we allow you to have space for your emotion and feelings and thoughts to come up, but the one that are hidden.
Yes, I can be quite transparent, right? Because I'm talking about myself. But when we pulled the cards and I pulled trust and appreciation, I was like, oh, well, I trust myself. I appreciate myself. I'm here. But when you're in those moments of silence and you ask yourself those questions again, and the answers prop up, and you're like, wow, am I really doing myself a service? Do I really appreciate myself? Do I really trust myself as much as I think? So, those two words for me have been really important since I've been home. And I can say by just really leaning into them both, so much magical things are happening, Dara, that I don't know whether they would have happened if I hadn't given myself that space to be with you all, to really give myself that time to really appreciate and trust myself. And so coming out of the retreat and seeing my life change has been like, wow, whoa, is this what I could have had years ago if I just trusted and appreciated? But I didn't know that I needed to do that. So that was very interesting to me. And just to see you on your own journey as well, because I believe that although you were our facilitator, you would have been on your own journey as you being there with us.
It was for me a wonderful
Mhm.
experience, and I really want to repeat that experience in my life. I love to guide you, and it was also very fluid for me because I can really say that your group was amazing.
Yeah,
Mm,
truly were.
and I can feel your energy. And you remember at the closing ceremony, we said that we can speak through eyes,
Yes.
we can speak through the body. And
Mhm.
sometimes we're not allowed to speak through words, but everything, the connection remains. Yeah,
Yeah.
no matter what. It's so wonderful. And it was like our framework, our bubble for some days. And guiding you was very easy for me. And I know that it's what I want to do. I want to make people dance with confidence because trusting the process of silence and dance together, wow, it's a real medicine.
Mhm. It definitely was a medicine.
But I know it's scary because it sounds very weird.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And thank you for trusting me also before the experience. I know it sounds weird. You have to live it to really understand. You can communicate with yourself, but not sharing with others, but
Mhm.
sharing with yourself first.
Mhm.
Because we are used to just share everything we live, everything we think, our opinions, everything we share first sometimes. I mean,
Yes.
most of the time with others, but not with ourselves first. We don't take the time to integrate our insights. And that's why I love with this experience is that you take the time to digest everything. You don't have the pressure to share. So everything is for yourself. So that's really funny too. Eh? It's changing compared to the daily life.
It's amazing. It really was an amazing feeling to wake up and see people smiling at you and embracing you and talking to you with their eyes. And I felt like that was a deeper connection than the spoken word at times because we couldn't speak. So for me, seeing and making eye contact with others and just seeing people just in such a relaxed environment made me really happy. And when we did start talking, I felt a little bit overwhelmed because I still felt like there was still a little bit more that I wanted to keep for myself. Does that make sense? I
Yes,
was like,
totally.
wow, okay, I'm feeling a little bit all discombobulated because there's so many conversations happening. And now I don't know how I integrate into those because I've been so comfortable with myself. And I didn't think that was going to be the case, Dara. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't know if I was going to be in that comfortable feeling of being silent with myself because I have had a way of distracting myself when things get hard. When my mum passed away, I went into full distraction mode. When I had a miscarriage, I went into full distraction mode. I didn't give myself that time to really stop, heal, and get quiet. And it was only when we made a decision to try again, and the doctor said that I may need an operation, that's when I was like, I have to get really silent and quiet with myself and make the space for this baby to appear. And that's when I started to work on my inner self and my outer self. But before that, my life was noisy as hell. It was very noisy. And so this feels like it's a now bring me back to a place that I was really experimenting with 5 or 6 years ago. And so I feel like this is another new beginning where I can incorporate having that time and that space and that silence on my own and not feel like I have to fill in the gap. I just want to say to any of the listeners, if this resonates with you, if you are feeling in a space where you need quiet and you need to assess life, then this is a retreat that is going to give you that space. And Dara is the person that will hold you in that space as well, because like your integrity was everything. Like I said, you thought about everything. And I've been to retreats. I've been on holidays. I've been to workshops where not everybody does that. So that's a real gift to be really thinking about others and the customer experience. I talk to my clients a lot about that. You have to think about the customer experience of how they're going to feel because you want to be able to insert yourself into having that experience as well. And I think you truly did. I think you were enjoying the time as much as we were because you made something that was enjoyable.
It's important
Yeah.
to enjoy. And yeah, you understand what I mean.
Right, you're right. So, Dara, for the novices out there that want to incorporate more dance into their lifestyle or even more silence, do you have any tips that you can share?
Yes, so you can start in your room where you live. You can start by just listening to music randomly because it's also good to face music that you are not used to listen.
Yes.
But your body is not going to answer the same way. So you can start by doing that. And my guidelines will be stay in movement. No matter what, stay in movement. Stay with your breath, stay with your sensation, and focus on that first. And even you don't know what to do, stay in movement. And then feelings, emotions, thoughts will arise and also will disappear and will coming back. And that's fine. It just, you can move with it. Move with it until you feel you had let go. And you can take some times after the dance when you feel very like, I let go, you can be in silence. And I think I will advise that the time you dance has to be the same times in silence. It would
Oh,
be beautiful. I had this insight yesterday actually, and I thought we are not in silence in daily life. We are not used to be in silence. And sometimes even myself, I do my movement practice. At the end, I just stay in stillness to integrate everything, integrate my movements, integrate the vibration of my movements. And I stay maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes here. But I can feel that if I allow myself to extend this time to be more in silence, I think it would be more transformative because we heal through movement, but also through stillness. And for me, stillness, it's so beneficial after the movement because you need to rest, you need to surrender. And so I will advise that if you can give you maybe 1 hour, 30-minute dance, 30 minutes in movement, and then 30 minutes in silence. Then you will see what will arise and will come up for you. And I think it's already a good experience with yourself. And the more you do that, the more you will observe yourself and transform the way you move. And each experience is unique.
Yeah.
And that is what I love, because each movement is unique and you are going to change. You're not going to dance the same way. And is what I like with dance is that everything is different.
Yes.
We don't repeat a movement. I don't repeat like in yoga, you repeat sometimes a sequence,
Yes.
a series of movement. So it can be the same. You can do the same class as yesterday and you can do the same class tomorrow. But in dance, it's so different.
I love what you said, because I remember there was a time at the retreat and you said, now don't go back to your normal dance moves. Try something different. Move your feet in a different way, or move your arms, or move your body in a different way. And I was like, oh, I've got permission to do that. Because, like you said, I'm a dancer who goes to those same similar movement patterns that I've always done. Or as a Pilates teacher, I'm very structured at the movements that I've learned. And so everything was very small and tight. Whereas when I started to move with fluidity, I was like, this is just different. And that last day when we opened up, when we went to the beach and you said, this is your last time, be free. And I looked around at how much space I had danced in, because I could see my feet in the sand. And I was like, wow, like the first time it was very small, but by the end, the movement was so big. So now when I dance around in my bedroom, like he said, because I love to have dance parties throughout my day, in between my clients, I'll have a dance party. But now I take up all of the space and my arms are going and my legs are going and my waist is going. And I have my favorite song now because of you. So now every morning I play our song. I call it Dara and I's song, because we connected on the beach to it. And I was like, this is our song. And it takes me back to that moment. And so I love what you said about just being in that flow and making it easy. And now I've got memories as well that I can assign to that, really happy memories to that song. It's just a beautiful gift that you're giving. And so I want to hear more about what you're doing in the future. Are you going to do another retreat soon? Tell us everything so that we can really get immersed in what's happening in Dara's world.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to create the next retreat. I have a retreat actually in October in French, but I want to create more, and I'm going to create more in English too, because yeah, it was very spontaneous as I create the retreat. Everything was in English, and I think it was an open door for me,
Yes.
the world. And
Yes.
now I want to create more offers in English. I'm going to start also soon, maybe 1-2 months online coaching, online dance class. And
Yes.
I also want to, if there is a need to coach people one-to-one, to explore the movement and to guide people more individually. And I still have my big project on the beach, so dancing on the beach, dancing in nature with the headphones. I love that
Yes. Yes.
because it's a beautiful experience, because you are in connection with moments around you and also with yourself in that space. So it's really deep, I think. I love that experience. So I want to share more. And I have a lot of sessions outdoor all the summer here in the west coast of France. And I think that's all. Yeah.
We're going to see you around the world outside of France, maybe?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm going to work on it.
Yes.
Sure.
So,
I promise, because I want to create more things. And I can see that since the retreat in May with you and the group, I understood that there's something. I don't want to be mean to French people. No, it's not that. But I observe that you are so open-minded. I mean, the Americans, the English people, you are so open-minded. And also where I've been trained, it was in South Africa, with also an open-minded community. And I see that in France, my business is growing. And also I'm wondering if I don't have to wonder, no, I just have to follow the signs. And the signs are telling me that there's something to do outside France. I trust the signs, and I'm so happy that you are part of my journey. I'm happy because all your group, you are all female entrepreneurs,
Yes.
very motivated, and it was also very helpful for me to being with you. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to like
You
going
will.
abroad.
I definitely see that for you. And like I said previously when we were talking, like I would love to do something with you. So we need to talk about that in some capacity. But I also want to just leave you with this because I remember, I think it was 2019 when I was at a female entrepreneur retreat and I was sitting next to this woman and I was telling her about all of my dreams and my desires and what I wanted to do in the UK. And she said to me, but why just the UK? And that really unlocked something in me, Dara. And one up until now, I always remember that. But looking back at some of my past clients, the majority of them are not in the UK,
Oh wow.
right?
Okay. Okay, okay.
Yes, there is a whole world that is waiting.
Yeah,
Explore Dance with Dara.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. And I also love teaching English,
Yes.
even if I have to improve. And I also want to say that English is not my mother language. And I think you, I mean, you listeners, you had already noticed that. And yeah, but thank you for listening me.
No, I think your English is exactly where it needs to be. It's beautiful. So, Dara, before we leave, can you tell everybody where they can find you and where they can find more about the retreats and all of your offers?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a good thing before closing the podcast. So you can find me on exploreyourdance.com, also on my Instagram, dara.dancing, and Explore Your Dance, also Instagram account. That's
Yeah.
good.
I will make sure that all Dara's information is in the show notes. And so please go and have a look, read her story, go and look at her videos online of her expressive dance. They're so beautiful. And get in touch if you need dance and silence in your life. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Eleshia, for your generosity and yeah, your warm welcome here.
You're
Thank
very welcome. You're amazing. Just remember that.
you.
Okay, listeners, thank you again for listening to Dara and I's conversation. I really hope it resonated. And if there is somebody that you think needs to hear this conversation, please go ahead and share it with them. Okay, until next week, take care. Bye-bye.